So the first week or so of free agency has passed by. All the big money has gone to the wayside, it's been spent. All the checks have been signed. The ink is almost dry on a lot of the big deals. And the Panthers haven't really made a ton of big splash moves. But in this video, I'm going to recap the moves they did make, give them a grade, and what I think they should do going forward, and then going into the draft. And we're starting right now. What up, dude? What's up, everybody? It's Aaron Duncan here with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. You guys already know what it is, but if it's your first time here, this is the channel we might not tell you what you want to hear, but we're definitely going to tell you what you need to hear. And on this channel, I'll give you a recap and analysis of the best division in the NFL, the NFC South. So if you want to see more videos about the Panthers, Bucks, Falcons, or the Saints, go ahead, hit the subscribe button below and give this video a thumbs up. So in the previous video, I talked about what the Panthers' priorities should be going into the offseason. If you missed that video, check it out in the card above or somewhere over here. I don't know where it is, but go ahead, check that one out and see the top 3 things that I told you that the Panthers needed to address going into the offseason. But before we get into the video, I want to know what you guys think about what the Panthers have done so far this offseason. Let me know down in the comments below. What grade would you give them? An A, B, C, D, F? Like, how do you think they've done with the money they had? I know they didn't have a lot of cap space, and they had to make some cuts and let some guys go. So let me know what you guys think down below. Panthers fans, I know it's another offseason and another time where we have been disappointed about not making big-time moves and seeing guys like Sammy Watkins and Allen Robinson go to different places that we wanted them. And we even saw the Honey Badger hit free agency and us not make any moves. But they did make some moves. You have to give them credit for it. They brought Peppers back for one more year. He's very productive. Had a very productive year last year, so I'm happy about that deal. I know he was kind of on the fence about retirement, so it's good to have him back to usher in some of the younger DNs. I know a lot of y'all want to see us draft the DN or bring in other guys, but remember we have Deshaun Hall from Texas A&M that was picked up last year. I have a lot of faith in him, and I think he can actually make some big moves going forward. And of course, one of their first moves was trading for Torrey Smith and got rid of Daryl Worley. So I know a lot of you guys are happy about Worley because you guys didn't like him. And in my opinion, I liked him a little bit better than Bradbury. They're both suspect corners, but at least Worley tried to make plays. He had some bonehead plays. I know, guys, I know. But he's a lot more aggressive than Bradbury. Both of these guys are kind of like catch and tackle guys, but at least Worley would get in your face. Bradbury kind of lets plays develop and wants to be there to make the tackle versus making plays. The few picks and plays he did make last year finally kind of fell in his lap. But to get a guy like Torrey Smith, I know a lot of you guys were mad, and I know I was mad initially, I'm not going to lie, that we traded for a guy who was in the last year of his contract who had hit free agency anyway. But I had to think about it. Would we have been able to sign him had he hit free agency? I don't think so, because for some reason, I don't know why it is, but guys are pretty much allergic to coming to Carolina. I don't know what it is about getting big-time receivers. Like, people, there's plenty that hit the market. I don't know if it's we just don't have the money. They don't like the system. They don't like Cam. I don't know what it is, but we just can't land big-time receivers. So having to trade for a guy may have seemed like a reach, but it is what it is. He was $5 million, so he's not a ton. He's not a ton against the cap, and he could be a good veteran presence, and he gives us some more speed. Our receiver core is young, so Torrey Smith adds a veteran presence. Of course, we added another receiver with Jarius Wright, another fast guy. They said he ran a 4.42. coming out in 2012. And this was a solid pickup, okay, too, because I know a lot of his teammates rave about him. And, of course, he's familiar with Norv Turner's system from Minnesota, so he'll be able to make some noise, I think, in my opinion, adding even more speed to the wide receiver core. And he's been in the league for a few years, so he's a little bit older than the younger guys we have, like Samuel and Bird that's in there in Funches. So they can kind of bring that veteran presence in there and maybe a little bit more leadership as we usher in a new system with a new offensive coordinator. And I don't mind Jarius Wright having his 2 best career years being in Norv Turner's system. So let's see if we can do even more with the even better quarterback with Cam Newton. Of course, we all know about the sad, sad moment of losing Brashard Breeland to a failed physical. Just when you think the Panthers made some moves in the secondary after they got rid of Worley to sign Breeland, he can't pass a physical because he has a cut in his foot. That's like typical Carolina Panthers offseason stuff. Like, as soon as we feel like we're making progress, there's more steps back. We got him. He's a playmaker. He's got toasted a few times last year, but I think he would have been a great asset. He's a hard hitter. He boomed Kamara twice last year in the same game when the Redskins played the Saints. If you missed it, go back and watch that game. And I'm all for a guy that's going to boom Kamara because we got to see this guy twice a year. But it was sad to see him not be a part of the family, because I was pretty excited about what he could do for the team. But I will say the biggest splash the Panthers made was signing Dontari Poe, the former Falcon, and it feels good to snatch a good player from a division rival. And he's a good replacement for Starr. I can't believe he's been in the league longer, but he's younger. He was definitely cheaper, and he could stop the run and rush the passer. So we'll see what he was. I mean, everybody was saying Starr just did nothing but take up space and free up blockers. Let's see if we can get some plays made out of Dontari Poe with KK Short in the middle. That should look like a deadly combination within the middle, man. I'm kind of excited about that one. And the most recent additions of Ross Cockrell at corner. He was rated the best zone corner last year in the NFL. And if the defense may go back to not as aggressive as Steve Wilkes, but a little bit more zone, we could definitely use him in zone coverage. I think they said he had like a 13.8 passer rating given up at corner, which was best in the league. So I'm excited to see what he can do. He's only 26. He's a hometown kid. He's from Charlotte. So that seems to be the kind of the hook for Carolina. Get guys to come back home to where they went to school. And I'm excited to see what he has. We also picked up Norris Searcy, a safety from Tennessee. I think he's solid. He lost his starting position last year, so he's going to be looking for a new home this year. He's not as young and as fast as we were looking, so I expect us to go and draft and find another safety. And the safety market is still ridiculous. You still got Trey Boston and Eric Reed out there that can make plays. And I don't know what's going on with the safety market. Nobody's really been signed too big except maybe Kurt Coleman and Searcy pretty much. So we'll see what happens going forward then, but I like the additions we made there. We also picked up the guard Searles from Minnesota. They say he's got is going to come in and compete with Taylor Moton, but I think since Darrell Williams kind of broke out last year in that battle between them at right tackle, we kick Moton into the left guard position and see if he can take over that starting spot. He's a big guy. He's a mauler. He can lean on some guys, so we'll see. I hope Taylor Moton gets that spot, but we'll see what happens. And, of course, it seems like the Panthers' only big splashes seem to be the guys they let go instead of the guys they bring in. And you guys know we already let go Charles Johnson, who wasn't even active the last few weeks, so he was going to be gone. But we cut Stewart and Kurt Coleman, which were kind of big-time surprises for me as far as Kurt Coleman. Stewart, I knew was kind of on the fence, but I thought maybe they'd give him another chance. But the Kurt Coleman cut was crazy to me. They said they wanted to get younger and faster at safety. Okay. They didn't do it. They didn't get too much younger with Searcy, but I think Searcy may just be a bridge gap until we get a younger guy to come in and shore up that secondary. And, of course, we know we let Norwell and Starr walk. We weren't going to be able to afford both those guys. I was hoping we would keep Norwell, like I said in my previous video, but it didn't happen. We didn't have the money. Starr, he got his money. I'm happy for him. Norwell, he got his money down in Jacksonville. I'm happy for him. We have some answers at guard, so we'll see what happens there. So I'm not too crazy about that. There may be some more cuts. We'll see if Russell Shepard gets cut to make more room for another young wide receiver that we're going to draft, but we'll see what happens. As we go into the draft, I'm looking for Carolina to get a safety, like I said, a playmaker at safety, a wide receiver, hopefully, and maybe a linebacker to replace Thomas Davis going into next year. And they may even look for D-line depth. Who knows? But you guys got to remember at corner, we have Corn Elder, who didn't play at all last year, who we drafted out of Miami. We still want to see what he has. I don't know how much he has. I didn't know much about him coming out last year, so we'll see what he has in the system. Maybe he can excel under Eric Washington. We'll see. But like I said, you guys let me know how you think they've done so far. My grade for them, I'll give them a C, solid C. I want to say C minus, but the signing of Ross Cockrell is probably the best thing I've heard in a while. A good corner. He's young. He can make plays, and he can excel in zone, which we're going to do a lot. Like I said, you guys let me know down below in the comments what you think about their offseason so far. What grade would you give them? I gave them a C. You guys let me know what you think. I'll see you next time.